And it's D-Day as we all know it, because this afternoon of low voter turnout, allegations of doubling of voting and also cancellation of the entire process in some parts of the regions and country has characterized this district level elections. We know that more than 66,000 candidates are contesting to lead some 6,200 electoral areas across the country. So we touch base with some of our correspondents this afternoon who are on the grounds as we start from the Greater Accra region, focusing in the Ghana North constituency to be precise, where a twin faced a peculiar challenge with a software that replaces, of course, the indelible ink as a marker for voters who cast their ballots. My colleague Sweetie Abochi has been following up on that story for us and comes through with us.
Still on monitoring the electoral processes in this year's district-level election, we've moved from Ghana Central to Ghana North, where we're catching up with Dr. John Halm, who is the parliamentary candidate-elect on the NDC ticket for this constituency. Honorable, thank you for joining us for a brief conversation.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to know, in your perspective, what have you observed so far, and what do you think about the electoral processes since morning?
Well, it's very good. So far, so good. A few places that I've visited this morning, the exercise is going on smoothly. One or two things has been observed. That is, the turnouts at certain places are quite a bit low. But coming to Pokwasi electoral area, I realize the turnout is much appreciable.
We know that the NDC is not particularly excited about the not using the indelible ink as we've done for years now. And what do you think? Because some of the officials have told us that they've not had any problems yet with the software. What do you think, or what have you observed, in your opinion, the processes without the indelible ink?
Well, it's not the traditional thing we know of our election processes in Ghana. So it's got a new thing, which I think is not the best for us. What about, I think it's a recipe for any disaster, because someone can go and then come back again. But because it's a community, many people knows of, themselves. And so therefore, probably that may be as a check. But the reality is that it's not the best thing that we want to welcome in this country, because that is the only identification that indicate that one has really gone out to vote. And so if there is no any identification, it means that the system is open. Anyone at all can come in again and then vote 2-3 times, which could be vote rigging, which is not the best for us.
Still here at the Ghana North constituency at the Methodist Church polling station, where we had a situation involving two women, twins, where one person came earlier to exercise her franchise. The system had some challenges capturing her fingerprints, but she went through the facial recognition system successfully and was able to cast her ballot. The second sister came in and was unable to, the machine was unable to recognize her fingerprints and her facial features. It appears because the first sister, who is a twin sister, had already been captured in the system, it is repeating as an already registered and voted person. We're speaking to the polling officer, the presiding officer, who tells us that this is the first time they're having any challenges at all with the software. However, there's a possibility that it could be the same person who's posing as two people. But we've had people, family and friends, tell us that they know these two women. They are familiar with them and they are twins. And we even spoke to their mother, who also is a twin. So the situation we just witnessed between the two sisters who claim they are twins, and the system has already picked one person and is rejecting the other person's fingerprints. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
I think you just narrated. They are twins. And it seems the other sister came and voted. So when the second person came in, when he put his finger on the thing, he's rejecting. It means she have voted already. So I think it's maybe, I don't know if blood-related issue or facial recognition or what. But I think if they could have used the indelible ink, when this one is in, they will know that, no, this is a different person. So they can call two partners or the agents so that they can rectify, because definitely the name should be different in the register. So they may know that, oh, this was a different person, this also is a different person. And I think they said this report has been coming from other places for twins or maybe sisters, if not maybe twins. So I think this will be worried. So in this case, the other person did not vote because they said they have nothing to do about it. So the other person did not vote.
Did you see that machine going off? You said you saw the machine going off.
Yes. The machine go off. But I don't know the reason why the machine go off.
Does this inspire confidence in you? Do you think that we are ready for election 2024 on the back of what we just witnessed?
Unless if you check it, maybe 2024 it will be okay for us. Yes.
Do you know the people personally? The women? Do you know the twins personally?
Yes, I know them.
So they actually twins?
Yes, they are my sisters.
Oh,
okay. We did the same area. Yes.
Anything else you can add to this?
But for me to say, you can't compare this election to the general election. If it were a general election, the other sister will not accept to go. Because this is assembly election, so she just said, because the reason why this is trying to generate, because people are saying that you can win with one vote. So they want the other sister also to vote. But because the tension is cool, then she decided to go. But if it could have been general election, it would be different thing. Because others were saying that the machine are defaulting. That's why. Because I don't understand, they have different features. So how can you tell me because they are twins and the machine cannot detect? So assuming we have 10,000 twins in Ghana, it tells you that maybe 500 will vote and the other 500 will not vote, which will not order well. I may say maybe this one is just cool here, but other place, if they are twins, it will not be well. This is assembly election. The other place, I don't think they will take it lightly. Fortunately, this is a woman or a female. If they are male, I don't think, or let's assume if it's vice versa, one female, one male, and my sister came and voted, and me, I'm here, you are telling me that you not allow me to vote. So I don't think different features because we are twins, machine can reject the other one that one have come already.
Well, thank you so much. We hope that this in no way foreshadows what to expect in election 2024. For Joy News, Sweetie Abochi.
And there's more we're learning about the process because in the airport residential area, still within the Greater Accra region, some voters were reluctant to participate in the elections. My colleague Kenneth JC engaged some of the voters and also the EC's presiding officer within the area.
I believe the process is quite unique and very good because this is the initial stage of the government proceedings. So the assembly election is more important to every community in this country. Yeah.
And then, what's your opinion on the indelible ink which has been abolished?
That one I can't say much because it is the role of the EC, the best that they can do for the people and the country. Whether the indelible is there is good or it's not there is not good. But that one is done by the EC. We are to come here and vote as a Ghanaian. So whatever they have provided, I think we have to abide by it and do the best.
What do you think is making young people, especially, uninterested in voting?
That's quite difficult, but one thing I can say is that, like I initially said, it's good to vote for this particular exercise because when you want development, it starts from the community. So each and everyone should at least show concern by voting to make the community also pick up to meet the national grid.
Yes, I voted around 7-something to 8. Yeah.
So why is it?
I'm the World Woman Organizer, Roman Ridge.
What does that mean?
World Woman Organizer, you're supposed to be at the polling station, monitor everything, whatever is going on, to see that everything is going on well.
All the polling stations that we've gone to, we've seen middle-aged to older people, voting. We are not seeing the young people voting. Why?
Some of the old women, they are women organizers. And the first voters, we are supposed to monitor them and bring them along to the polling station to come and vote. Yeah.
So that now there's no ink on your hand when you finish voting. What's your view on that?
I disagree with that, but that's what the EC said. So we have nothing to do, like to come and vote based on what they have said. So we are on it.
What's your disagreement?
My disagreement that the election can be rigged through this, because without the ink, how can you identify? No, maybe somebody can come twice. So that's why we are here, to monitor everything. Yeah.
But they say that their machine is in such a way that nobody can vote twice. If you try voting twice, the machine will catch you. You don't trust the machine?
I don't trust it, because we were here around 6:30. As at that time, even they have not done anything. They set up to around 7 something to 8 before they set up everything. Some people are ready to go to work, but they wanted to vote. So we were here waiting for them. And the voting started around 7 something to 8. So I disagree with them.
This area is prison 1 and 2, junior high, Roman Ridge 2. Yes, actually, we are expecting 524 to vote, but currently we are having less than 35 who have turned up voting. No.
You are closing at 5 p.m. if I'm correct, and by 5 p.m. looking at the 35 people that have turned out to vote, how many people more do you expect to add up to that number?
Okay, by that time, I think we're expecting at least 200 people. At least 200 people.
Is that not overly ambitious?
Somehow. But we're expecting that by midday up to late afternoon, many people will turn up.
Looking at the new measures that have been put in place, notably the indelible ink which has been taken away, has there been any complaints from the voters?
There's not been any complaints from them.
Oh, process in fact, I say and they a Jumayeda. And I feel so, I didn't so enchant. And see, I remember Habato Mabano. Men will say Nipano, Moba, Macumacu. And my friend say, I started the Yara.
It means when near fee, not just a water about it. Yeah, you say, what to a bunny we are, young fat ink, and young Sabium. A month for Bibri say, and in a bema, a month for what to a bunny me, and son. Why don't you own it?
And a day, Sabi, a bangna, what transi, and a wandering when we say. Sa and Yamano Ibuha or the Inkinia and Pipa. Now, what to me, a sang the Akoto above Frubium. Do my transit and want to say, one at home now verification machine, a bit to me a bois, me face and a dear anchor a year.
Millicent, how many people are expected to vote? How many have voted so far?
Okay, we are expecting over 600 candidates here, but as at the moment, over 50 candidates have been here.
50? You mean voters? Okay. Then that's encouraging, because here 25, the other place 22, and here 50. And tell us about the indelible ink. How are people receiving it?
Well, as we started, most of them were confused and asking questions about it, but our presiding officer educated them about it, so I don't think they're having a problem about that. Yeah.
Has there been any misunderstanding from any of the voters?
No. Since morning, we haven't encountered anything.
So at the end of the day, judging by the 50 voters that have come, what are your projections? How many people are you expecting?
Well, looking at the voters that have come so far, I would say we are expecting over 100 to 150 voters by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Medasi.
You also Medaspa.
The turnout been so far?
It's been okay. It's been smooth. we are expecting 700 people, but as at now we have only 22 people who have voted successfully. So we are still expecting other people to come and join.
Have you encountered any misunderstanding from any of the voters?
Oh, not really. I think the only issue here is most people used to vote here, like almost the whole vicinity, they used to vote here. And then most of them couldn't get the time to check their names in the voter register during the exhibition. So when they come here, it's either they don't vote at this particular polling station. So it's our duty to check and then let them go to where they are supposed to vote.
So for the first time, we are no longer using the indelible ink as a form of having voted. How are the people taking this?
It's okay with them, I think. So no one has complained, and then I think with the system in place now, it's even safer than using the indelible ink, because there is no way you can vote twice.
How?
Because we have a verification device called a BVD. So this one, it uses your either your index, your fingerprint, or your facial identification. So once you've been here, we check everything and then we give you the go-ahead to vote. So when you come back again, the system, the device will let us know you've been here already. Yeah.
And we'll be getting you more from our reporters across the country, but it's a good time now to also hear from Dr. Asante, who's joining us via Zoom right now. He's a political scientist with the University of Ghana. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us. So you've heard, wide reaction greeting this very reform that the Electoral Commission is putting in place, the issue about, taking out the option of the indelible ink. It appears that voters are getting used to it, even before we get to the issue of the low voter turnout. Dr. Sante, we're having some challenges hearing you. If you could just unmute for us.
Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Great, great.
Doc, I was just asking the question earlier on about your initial reaction to this whole indelible ink issue that, the voter population appeared to be touching on after participating in today's elections. It appears that, by and large, many of them will get used to it, isn't it?
Definitely, when you set any process in motion, people will complain. But as the process continues or progresses, people examine the whole process, and if it's okay, they move with that. Sometimes it's not okay, but they have no choice than to accept it as it is.
We're looking at, for instance, that unique story of, the twin sisters, of course, going to the same polling center, and they seem to have difficulties. One of the differentiating factors could have been the use of the indelible ink. You agree?
I honestly, I thought that the absence of indelible ink was going to create a problem because sometimes you have identical twins like that. How do you differentiate? Sometimes other factors can affect that exercise if you are not using the ink. So I was wondering what really triggered that type of policy, that if you don't use ink, it's good enough. What is it? What do we gain by not using ink? Obviously, you would tell me it's cost, but the state is prepared to pay for anything that will make elections credible and foolproof. So things that will bring doubts, I'm sure that's why we need to shy away from. So I don't know the feasibility studies and all the calculations that went into it. But for me, and where I sit, I believe that we should have used the ink.
And I want us now to look at, the concerns about the voter turnout But it's not. It's almost the same old story of many people not participating in the exercise. We're hopeful because the exercise hasn't ended yet, that by the close of day today, at least the numbers will show up past what we used to experience, in previous elections. But the trend is still the same. Why are we having this, challenge, perennial problem of having a low voter turnout for the district level elections?
I'm sure this country expects this type of results. We can pretend because one, we have not made local government elections very attractive. If you see campaign, did you even hear of their campaign messages and the rest of them? Have we as a state attached importance to the whole exercise when we had opportunity to make it partisan by going on the referendum and then discussing what we can do relative to that type of proposal? We jettison it and then we are back to square one. In addition to all this, you realize that we have not, as a people, we have not made it a policy to make the local government election very attractive. And one surest way by which we can do that is through the partisan nature that we want to introduce. If we buy into that, it's going to ginger people into taking part effectively and other. And of course, you are going to have the party machinery brought to bear on the situation.
So
now
you support the idea of partisanship at the base?
Yes, I support it 100%. I mean, why do you have partisanship structure at top and at the grassroots you have something different? It's dysfunctional. It doesn't work well, right? What you have at the base should be replicated at the top because power emanates from what the grassroots. If you look at even people we elect at the national level, we elect them from the grassroots, not from any national something. It's what the constituency. So why do you have what? A non-partisan system there, and at the top you have partisan. It's dysfunctional, and it doesn't bode well for our democracy. And that is why, through research, people have come out to say that that is the surest way to go. Apart from this, the issue also has its own challenges. There are some places that they are not even putting today. I'm sure you are well aware of that.
Yeah.
My own district, I was ready and on my way to go and cast my ballot, and then on the way, I received a call that, hey, we are not voting at the Ekrapum North Municipal Assembly, but we are voting tomorrow. Here you are. So I stopped.
Yeah.
And I don't know the reason, but I'm sure it's perhaps maybe due to logistics and all that. Is it the case that the election management body have not been able to supply the needed materials to all those places, and then that's why we're having this problem? I think this type of exercise, the places that there are difficulties and they are postponing, it tells you that something went amiss and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
All these factors put together have culminated in the situation that we find ourselves.
And in fact, many would say that this could be dress rehearsal for the Electoral Commission, at least to pick up, on its strengths and weaknesses, reflect and move forward to organize a much more improved general elections next year. If there are some changes or reforms to take place, where do we start off from?
One, the reforms should come from the election management body. They should make sure that the three phases of elections are covered very well. The pre-election phase, where you need to put in all the resources that the people need, make them ready. And then on the election phase, and on day of elections, people should go to the polling station without going there to meet a situation where there are no electoral materials and the electoral process is truncated in one way or the other. That should be, thrown away. And then they should be able to give education very well before the election and all that, so that people will know that there is this exercise that is going on and the rest of them. Beyond Electoral Commission, at this state, we should take a definitive position on this. Are we going for a partisan? Are we maintaining the non-partisan nature of our local government election, or we want to introduce the partisan nature? if we want to maintain the status quo, I'm afraid this type of trend will continue, and we're going to see worse in terms of voter turnout and in terms of performance as people begin to lose interest and all that. But if we ginger the people and we bring back the conversation of the partisan nature at the grassroots, I can assure you, without fear or contradiction in my mind, that you are going to have more people energized to take part in the district assembly elections.
Well,
other than that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, the president has attempted that before. I'll find out from you shortly if indeed we should, kickstart or restart that conversation in an election year next year, and what the president should be considering on that. But I also want to bring in now from the Ashanti region, Nanaya Boakye-Adom. And Doc, just hold on for us because there's a need for us to learn about what's happening in the region where, of course, there are some questions that are being asked the Electoral Commission where the polls are being postponed in those electoral areas. Nanaya Boakye-Adom has been monitoring all of that for us and joins us now with more. Nanaya, what can you report, and why would the elections be suspended if that's not the description of it? Why are the elections being deferred, if I should say?
Election generally has been peaceful and smooth in the Ashanti region. At this moment, we know that some candidates throng the EC office, the EC headquarters in the Ashanti region to demand answers as to why their election
for voters to come in and cast their vote, and also made preparation for some
news for these voters. But all of a sudden, they were told that the election would not be conducted in these areas, Santasi, Inshayaso, Achumamponi, Achumamwabieja, and also, in fact, the entire Inshayaso constituency would not be part of this electoral process. South Suntreso is also included, and we are also learning that Barekese is not exempted from this whole areas that would not be partaking in this electoral process. The process has been a bit slow in some of the districts that we have visited. The voter turnout is not really impressive. That is what we've picked up from the districts that we have visited throughout the day. But we are currently at Yoforikrom municipality. Over here, there are several districts participating in today's district level elections, but the turnout has been slow, just as other districts that we have visited throughout the day. You can see that the EC officials are here getting interactive with the voters who will be coming in, and then later on lead them to their ballot box to cast their vote. And so I can report for the meantime that the Ashanti region for here, it has been smooth and peaceful. My colleague Emmanuel Bright-Kwiku has also been monitoring the situation on ground. He has been to some areas, and he would be joining me to give us a brief analysis on what the situation has been in South Suntreso specifically, and over here at the Yoforikrom municipality, where we are learning that about 3 districts over here would not be part of this whole electoral process. Ima, what can you tell us?
All right, so Nana, as we reported in the morning that some of these electoral areas will not be partaking in this particular exercise. That is exactly what has happened, and the EC has even confirmed that. So in South Suntreso, they did not vote. When I went there, an area that is allocated normally for voting exercises, it's actually a tree. The EC officials sit under this tree to do this exercise, but when I went there this morning, there was nothing of a sort at South Central. So I then moved on to this Eija district, or if I should put it, the Eija area, where we have some electoral areas around here, some polling stations, about 4 of them here. We monitored throughout. Out of the 4 electoral areas, only 3, as I went there, only 3 were functioning, if I should put it. Only 3 of them were functioning. When I went to the last one, actually, they had set up the ballot, or erected the ballot boxes. I'm waiting for the materials, that's the voting, the ballot boxes, the ballot papers, and the rest to come so they vote. But later on, we understand that a particular ballot sheet wasn't available. That's for the unit committee, and that's why they didn't actually cast their ballot. So the concerns from even the electorates in this area were that have they been disenfranchised, or what has really happened. So they are hoping, well, we don't know for them whether they are going to partake in what is to come on Thursday, but for them, they are hoping that they will be asked to come back and then cast their ballot out and then vote for their preferred candidate. One interesting bit that happened also was that whilst we were in office this afternoon, we had some electorates from the Bomsu area besiege the office. They tell us that they don't understand why the EC would not announce this earlier, that some of these electoral areas will not be partaking in that exercise, and then they wasted so much time at these polling stations hoping that they will get their chance to cast their ballots, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So they are raising the question on the fact that will the EC or the Electoral Commission be able to conduct the general elections given what has happened today, that some of these polling stations are not conducting, or they are not having their electoral or voting exercise today. So they are casting some bits of doubts on whether the EC will be able to conduct the general elections that's in 2024 peacefully. So they are just hoping that the EC would make some amends, and then hopefully in 2024 they would be able to cast their ballot peacefully. So that's what is currently happening in some of these areas.
All right, so that is for South Sontreso and your Foriko municipality. Well, given the circumstances, the voters are questioning the EC's credibility in conducting the 2024 general elections. But then we have to engage the EC officials here and find out from them how the elections has been so far. It started at exactly 7 a.m. How has the turnout been, and also have they faced any challenges whatsoever? So let me get interactive with some of them and then find out from them. Boss, you've been here since 7 a.m. when the election started. How has the process been?
Okay. When we came here, the people where coming interested in this thing, so we are still people
we are
each the turnout is
very voted so far? An estimation of what?
Around 60-70. 60-70. Yeah, we are having around 60-70 electorates coming to partake in the elections.
All right, thank you so much. And so there are over 500 voters expected to cast their vote over here. But then at the moment, close to 70 electorates have participated so far in the Foriko municipality. But I'm to find out from them. So, yeah.
All the beauty of technology there. Apologies for the challenges we're experiencing. We'll definitely be taking you back to the Ashanti region where Nana Albachiadom is interacting with some of the election officials and also those participating in the exercise today. I want to bring back Dr. Kwame Asante, who's been helping us through the discussion. And Doc, we're still, getting the same report about non-participation in this exercise. The reason for which you're proposing that, of course, we'll revisit the issue of participation, political participation at the base. The president attempted once, failed on that exercise. We're moving into a general election year. The concern about whether or not it's feasible to reactivate, the constitutional reforms, possibly for a referendum ahead of main election. Is that, something feasible for the president?
Yeah, if the president wants to take up that conversation again, fine. But entering next year, I don't know. It's going to be a bit difficult because they will be preoccupied with campaign and all that. So if you bring this conversation in, you are going to, divide attention and all that. Maybe this conversation will take it up after elections, so that we'll have more time to deliberate on it, and then straight away after general election, when we are done, everything is said and done, then we can go into execution, and then we vote, and using the partisan nature of the whole process. But for now, I think...
Yeah, and in fact, we're already seeing some political actors, make partisan comments, if you want to put it that way, or a partisan spin on this, with the former president, John Mahama, already voting up north and pointing out today that his administration, if voted into power, will try and transform and, of course, make decentralization pivotal in his next administration if he's giving the opportunity to run the presidency again. The point about political will and how that is crucial in the decentralization agenda, do you feel that the political parties, those at the central level, are very much committed to what's happening down there?
For the MPP, to be fair with them, they had that political will to bring the bringing of the conversation was in itself an evidence of political will in that regard. But we as a society threw it away. And since then, I know we have not mastered the courage to bring it back. Of course, you cannot blame the government for having not been able to or bring the conversation back to the public for discussion. No, because it brought out the opportunity and then we threw it away. But generally speaking, I think that all the parties believe in the fact that district assembly elections must be partisan. I think so by and large. So if we want to bring the conversation up, I think this time around we will get more support. And if we strengthen the advocacy and education on that matter, we will get a lot of people to understand why that conversation is being held, and then their contribution when we welcome them and all that. It will shift the frontiers of the conversation and it will make decision-taking easier.
Right. And the last point, controversial one, as though it may be, but the issue of considering payment to members of the local assemblies. They've compared themselves to MPs, for instance, agents of development, where the MPs have some access to the development fund in the community, except to say that they, as the assemblymen, those who are closer to the base, do not have any funding. Is it time to begin, payments of salaries to assembly members, or perhaps consider some form of funding one way or the other to them?
Whatever it is, we need to inject money into the work that they do there. Remember, democracy without money or finance is empty. You need resources to be able to push the democratic agenda forward. What is the point of people getting skilled people who work at the grassroots level and receiving nothing or pittance? It doesn't bode well for anybody or any meaningful system such as what we have here. If we want to be serious about that, we need to look at how we can fund that, how we can, strengthen that financially so that it will attract the right caliber of people there. It's the lack of funding is also the cause of why people don't get attracted toward the local assembly elections and all that. And I'm talking about quality people, right? Once we introduce some level of funding and all that, you are likely to have others also go in there. And then people who are already there, they also get energized to be able to do the work and all that. For now, they are doing the work as if it's a voluntary work and all that, but you cannot blame them because they earn next to nothing.
Well, we'll see what happens in the coming days. Dr. Kwame Asante, thank you for spending some time with us here on The Pulse. And as we already know, the Electoral Commission has suspended voting in some parts of the Eastern and Ashanti region, with the Electoral Commission issuing a statement on that very situation and pointing out that the Commission wishes to inform the general public that due to the number of technical challenges, the district-level elections in some of the areas, especially in the Ashanti and Eastern regions, have been rescheduled. That will be happening on Thursday, the 21st of December 2023. Quote, "We apologize for any inconvenience caused residents of the electoral areas, and we assure residents of the affected areas that the district-level elections will be held on Thursday once again, the 21st of December 2023, unquote." So that's the statement coming through from the Commission. And Asabit is at Techiman South electoral area in the Bono East region, found this report.
So we are here at the Techiman Islamic primary polling center where election is already on here in the Techiman South constituency of the Bono East region. Voting started at 7. However, school is in session, and school authorities are unhappy with the conduct of the exercise during school hours, particularly considering the fact that school is in session and the school is also writing exams. They say the exercise is conflicting with academic activities. We've been speaking with school authorities, and this is, what they've been saying in relation to this particular development.
Currently, we are having in an exams week, and at the same time, we are having an exam. And like you could see, exams and at the same time conduction of an election, and the two doesn't match. In fact, it is causing some sort of inconveniences among the teachers, the children, and even particularly looking at they are using our premises, our tables and chairs. So writing exams, some of the children we have to send some of the children out for the few desks around to cater for few ones who can take the exam as I'm speaking now. So after they are finished, then the rest also come and take. So it doesn't augur well for, writing exams and conducting election at the same time.
These head teachers have a suggestion. They wish next time elections are conducted should be done, during the weekends or on holidays, or possibly government should factor giving set schools where elections are conducted some special holidays so that the exercise wouldn't be conflicting with academic activities.
In future, I wish the Election Commission could provide their own means of or their own furniture to help us to have the election, and at the same time, children also can have access to their classroom, their tables, and their chairs, likewise the teachers. Or they should have holiday for the school, the center where the school is, so that they will have some sort of holiday so that they can conduct it well.
We've also been engaging some electoral officers, and they share with us their frustrations. They say even furnitures for them to sit on because school is already in session is a difficult thing. So next time they are appealing to authorities to factor this to keep up, turnout, because they say enough, importance has not been attached to this particular, exercise compared to national or general elections.
I'm saying that today is a major national exercise, and it has coincided with examinations. Students are writing their exam today, so I'm thinking that today should have been declared a public holiday so that the exercise can be very successful. Now we don't even have chairs; they have taken it from us that they still want to use it to write the exams. So we are conducting this exercise, and if it had been a major election like parliamentary and presidential, it wouldn't be so. So politicians should give equal importance to this exercise as they give to the presidential and the parliamentary election, so that the citizens will see that this exercise too is important.
The situation isn't any different here at the Baptist primary and junior high school polling centers, where the school is equally writing its exams and the exercise is ongoing. Headmistress of the school say the situation is adversely affecting, teaching and learning.
We are writing our last paper today, but due to the voting exercise, it has affected us in so many ways. They've taken all our chairs. The children have no tables and chairs to sit on to write the exams. And we have a lot of people here, and the children cannot concentrate in writing the paper. So I wish that next time they should see to it that the exercise doesn't conflict with school activities.
So even though turnout has been extremely low in most of the polling centers we visited, it is quite too early to suggest that the situation will be the same throughout the process. We are hoping that by the close of the polls, we will have more persons turning out to cast their ballot. From the Islamic Primary Polling Center here in the Techiman South constituency, my name is Anas Sabit, reporting for Joy News.
And out south, in the Volta region, Ivy Setoji is now joining us for more updates on this. Ivy, what can you report? Ivy, we're having difficulties hearing you.
If you can hear me, the turnout today has been very, very, very low. in most of the places. Today, I have been in the Oti region. I was in Ketakrachi earlier. I am now crossing the river to Dambai to monitor the area as well. But the turnout has been low, as I said, and people are hoping that from now to the time it's over, people coming from their workplaces, farms, and markets will be able to go and vote. Honestly, residents say they don't see the need to vote for assembly members, comparing it with the general election. So I think there is that need for much public education on the assembly elections. We spoke to the Oti Regional Minister, Dr. Joshua Makubu, who said that much attention should be given to the assembly elections so that people will know that they are even much more needed than any other things. And also, he also advocated for persons with disability as well as women to be voted for. So, I'm going to Dambai right now to see what exactly is going on at that place. But as I said earlier, the turnout for this time around has been very low.
Okay, Ivy Setoji joining us from the Volta region. We head to the northern region. Martina Bugri is there. Martina?
Yeah, so for the northern region, in the Nanumba South District, there have been some challenges. About 6 polling centers received materials short than the required people who are supposed to vote in these areas. But my checks with the EC director in the region, he tells me that what they have told the officers there is if you people come in excess than what you have received, you move to areas where they have less people who are coming, so you can bring those materials to your center so that those who are there can vote. But he also says that so far nobody has actually called in to say we need extra ballot for the voting. We've also recorded some areas where we have machine issues like the Garizao area. Since morning, few people have been able to vote, and they come to be verified becomes a problem. Around Lamachegu, I also experienced some like that. People who spoke to me said they have also had challenges with verified. But largely, yes, it's been peaceful in the region here, except the low voter turnout that has been recorded since morning. We can say largely it's been good so far.
And definitely, we'll be getting back to Martina for the latest on the district level elections. You're watching the Pulse here on the Joy News channel. When we get back, we'll also tell you what's been happening in court with regard the new force and its spokesperson. We'll be back. Of the new force, Shalima Abusi, has been rearrested by the Ghana Immigration Service after charges preferred against her were dropped by the state in court today. Shalima Abusi, a Belgian national who was being held for obtaining a student permit, has been arraigned at the Kaneshie District Court. State prosecutors led by the Ghana Immigration on Tuesday dropped the charges against her, but she was shortly rearrested and whisked away amidst protests from her lawyers. And, of course, our legal affairs correspondent, Richard Kojinyako, was there.
Charlie, move it. Move it.
So we are here at the precinct of the Kaneshie District Court, where earlier in the courts, the prosecution said they had dropped the charges preferred against the spokesperson for the new force, Shalima Abusi. Just as they stepped down, the state prosecutors, the Ghana Immigration Service, rearrested Shalima Abusi, and the lawyers of the lady would not have any of that. They said that it is an affront to human rights, and so they have filed several actions at the Human Rights Court, and they will compel the Ghana Immigration Service prosecutors in this case to appear before the court, because this action is really in an arbitrary manner, and they will do everything possible to protect the human right, the fundamental human right of Shalima Abuisi, who has just been whisked away in their vehicle. Francis Xavier Sosu, who is lawyer for Shalima Abuisi, is distraught, is unhappy with the development.
Behavior is this. You came to the court and say that you have asked that the charges against the person be dropped. The charges are dropped, the person is discharged, and then you banded the person as if it's a common criminal here. If you really want the person in your office, from here we'll come to the office. Last week when the court said we should be there 3 times, we were there every single day. So if you knew you were going to do this, what kind of disgrace is this? What kind of international disgrace is this? I mean, are we living in a democracy or we are living in a jungle? Are we living in a democracy or we are living in a jungle? So honestly, I'm sincerely disappointed. Because you, the immigration officers, came here and said that her permit has been revoked. If you have revoked her permit, where's the evidence of the revocation? You should have brought it to the court and show it to everybody. Then we would then say that, okay, you have revoked her permit, so you can take her. You didn't do that. Then you banded the person as if he's a common criminal and send her away like that. Why do you behave this way? Why do you behave this way? That is complete assault. It was completely uncalled for. It's completely uncalled for. And I think that, look, we must really watch it. Where we are going, I think that we are sending the wrong signal to the international community. After all, there are Ghanaians who are also in other countries, right? If your citizen is treated this way in another country, will you be happy? Do you know the number of Ghanaians who are abroad? Do you know the number of Ghanaians in Belgium? If your citizens are treated this way, will you be happy? Well, I'll leave it.
So what do you do now?
Well, we have filed a number of actions. As we speak to you now, we have filed an action in the Human Rights Court against them for all other processes they may want to take for purposes of either trying to remove her from the country or not. I'm hoping that by the close of the day or by afternoon, they will all be served with those actions, and they will appear in court to come and answer for what they are doing, because we knew that there's the likelihood that they will be behaving in the manner they are behaving this way. And this is so arbitrary. This should not be tolerated in any democracy.
So here you see the parents of Shalima Abuisi, very distraught. They are unhappy with the development, and so they are moving in a car. They are heading straight to the Ghana Immigration Service, where their daughter has just been picked up by the Ghana Immigration Service. It's quite a scene here, and the lawyers for Shalima Abuisi are very, very angry. They can't believe what just happened. They say that the state prosecutors are acting in an arbitrary manner, and they have filed a number of actions, some at the Human Rights Court, and then they will make the prosecution, appear before court, because they say that this action that has been taken is quite uncalled for. Reporting for Joy News from the Kaneshie District Court, my name is Richard Kwejonya for Joy News.
Unfortunately, Richard is joining us in studio now. Richard, very touching scenes there, of course, seeing the parents very worried about what the future will hold now for Abuisi, as the name is, Shalima Abuisi. Let's talk about the next step. What's likely to happen now that the Ghana Immigration Service has taken custody of her?
Also, it was quite a drama. Now that she's been whisked away to the Ghana Immigration Service, I think processes will be activated, and then the repatriation procedure would be activated as well. You know, she was arrested for obtaining student permits under some false declaration. Right. She indicated in the document, according to the prosecution, that she was a student at the Ghana Christian University College, and upon investigations, they found that that was not so. And it was based on that in court today. They announced to the judge that, in fact, they have dropped the charges. And then just as she stepped down, as we saw in our shots, that she was rearrested, and then she was told there and then that her permit to stay in Ghana has been revoked.
So that's where the lawyers have a challenge.
Exactly. He said that, well, they should have come to the court with the revocation letter. But when I spoke with immigration officials, they indicated that also they were simply rearresting her, take her to their premises, and then all the other processes will follow. And so that is what we do know. So that is what we can say now about the next line of action. But she is due to be repatriated later tonight. I understand the time would be about 10 p.m. where she will go back.
The question as to what happened with this very case that Francis Xavier Sosu, the lawyer for Shalima, are in court for, because he's announcing that there's a human rights court that will now hear a new application is bringing before the court. What exactly is happening there?
Well, so Xavier Sosu's point is that she is also a human being, like the Constitution enjoins all Ghanaians. She also falls under the fundamental human rights of this country and Article Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution. And so she feels that she's not been dealt properly. Her human rights have been violated. And based on that, he has filed certain processes at the Human Rights Court in Accra for the court to invite these people for the process to continue.
And I see that we didn't get any opportunity of hearing from the parents, but they are obviously concerned about what's happening.
Yes, so it was really concerning for the parent. In fact, this was the second time I saw the parent. The last time was last week when they came. I think they were, but this time they were completely broken. When her freedom was granted by the dropping of the charges, they felt that at long last the daughter was free, only for the daughter to be rearrested. And so it was shocking to them So you saw some of them, the parent, the mother most especially, shedding tears when the vehicle was whisking the daughter away.
Oh, I see. So the point now about, confirming whether or not Shalima belongs to the new force, has that been settled? And what's the future of the political movement, if it is one, now that she's no longer?
Well, so the activities of the new force is somewhat shrouded in secrecy. One does not even know who are really behind this force, but in recent past, we've seen Shalima herself during the water disaster. She was distributing some relief items, engaging other people, doing some philanthropic work, and all of that. Last week, you heard some of the people from Circle indicating that they know her, they've been staying with her.
They've been reading a lot about her in the newspapers.
Exactly. But for the third force in general, people are now nosing around to know who exactly they are, who are behind this force. And I remember that in court, the prosecution indicated that the state was interested in who she was working for, whose interest was she serving. And so that is one thing. But what I've gleaned from her is that she is a model. She came to Ghana through some friends. And I think certain things did not go right. And so she fell in the hands of some agency. And then because she's a model, the agency contracted this new force, and then she signed some documents, and that is why you saw her pictures on their billboards and all of that. So it's just like some contractual.
So she's now becoming the beauty queen for the new force.
Exactly. You know, people like what is beautiful, and I'm sure that when you see their billboards, you're inclined to just stay there and observe her.
I didn't see that coming, honestly, because she's been all over the place speaking on behalf of the group.
Exactly, but
now it's turning out that she might have been a model just for the third force.
Is
the third force a fashion?
No, she in particular, what she does is modeling.
All right.
But she was contracted by the third force.
To be a model,
No, a spokesperson. So you
take pictures as well?
No, not really.
Let me just get that really clear.
Not really pictures, but because she speaks for them, no one knows anything about the third force apart from Shalima Abuisi. And so she was the face of that. And some of the political parties, they do start like that. They do start and then very soon controversies will arise.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so
honestly, I've never seen a political movement start with beauty queens.
Yes, just seeing one in Ghana.
Yeah, that's why it's an interesting story, I'm telling you. Because we've seen complain about the billboards being put down in town.
Yeah. And that is also concerning for the lawyers I spoke with as well. But in court, there was nothing political. No political discussion or about the political party was tied.
Right.
With the exception of the Immigration Act that has been breached by Shalima herself because she didn't have the requisite permit to engage in the activity she was engaged in, and that is why they went after her.
Unfortunately, she might be going home. She is going home, as we've confirmed. Now, Richard, thank you for giving us those updates, but it is confirmed now that Shalima Abuisi will be leaving the country. That's, if anything, changes, right?
Exactly.
Something could change.
Yeah, something, because I hear that there is even a press conference coming up. We do not know the time by the Ghana Immigration Service. So we are looking forward to that press conference and what the fallout will be.
A busy day it will be, and we'll be waiting to see if this Belgian national will be deported, as the Ghana Immigration Service is now revoking the residence permit of Shalima Abusi, who's now the known face for this new force, a political movement yet to be uncovered in terms of who the leadership are. But we'll definitely be watching the space. Richard, thank you for updating as we take you now to Parliament, because MP for Ningo Pram and also lead sponsor of the controversial anti-LGBT bill, Sam George, wants Parliament to head to the Supreme Court to ask for some interpretation on Article 108 of the Constitution. President Akufo-Addo told Parliament his refusal to sign some of the private members' bill in the House, which the House had already passed, was because they breached the set section of the Constitution. But Sam George, whose anti-gay bill could face a similar challenge, wants Parliament to just take up a suit at the Apex Court to settle the matter.
The resolution to this matter is for all of us to go to the Supreme Court. Parliament must go to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of Article 108 and let the judges distinct it for us. Is it the position of the law? Is it the intentment of the framers of the 1992 Constitution that Parliament cannot on its own pass any legislation? And then let's know that Parliament we have here is a rubber stamp Parliament. It cannot pass legislation. But let's go to, it's not about suing President Akufo-Addo. It's about getting a distinction of what the law really is. And that will guide all of us going forward.
Country Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante is joining me with more. You know, this is a rather interesting turn of events, knowing Sam George for his strong conviction about this anti-gay bill and the fact that he's now sort of seeking refuge, if we have to call it that way, in court. Why so? Kweku, we can't hear a word from you. Kweku Asante, there, we seem to be having a challenge. Kweku, I'm unable to hear you.
Yeah, so the words of George is to get to the point where the Supreme Court pronounces on Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution. There are rival meanings that have been put on those terms in the Constitution. There are the likes of President Akufo-Addo who believe that by Article 108, no private member can introduce a bill to Parliament that imposes a charge on the consolidated fund. That is the president and others who hold that school of thought, that view. There are those like Sam George in Parliament who believe that what 108 says is that in the opinion of the person presiding. So once the Speaker of Parliament makes a determination that this does not need to be considered because it does not impose a charge on the consolidated fund, then Parliament should proceed and deal with this. And so Sam George believes that if you go to the Supreme Court will pronounce on this, and then finally, there will be some conclusion on this because he believes the president has completely erred.
Okay, Kweku Asante there, giving us you know, some more explanation to what's happening. We'll definitely be watching the space. Thank you, Kweku, for joining us. In part 3 of our latest Hotline documentary titled A Nation That Begs, we tell you the story of how Ghana is now being tagged globally for being a begging nation, begging from Eurobond, being the darling boy of the Eurobond, to, you know, a debt relief seeker from the IMF. That's the story of the country, as we call it, in our latest A Nation That Begs.
In 2022, Ghana faced economic challenges as emerging markets experienced soaring coupon rates for bonds, rendering them exorbitant. Consequently, only 3 countries, Nigeria, South Africa, and Angola, managed to issue Eurobonds in the first half of the year. Other nations, including Kenya and Ghana, were priced out of the international capital markets due to unsustainable interest rates.
When we started getting the downgrades and others, that we better fix it because the domestic market was just too shallow.
It was quite clear that we're in too deep and we're in above our heads. And so once the rating downgrade came, that sealed our fate. we could no longer go back to the international capital markets to borrow, at least not on the Eurobond market, until we address issues of debt sustainability.
You are mindful about the cost of accessing capital from the markets, okay, and especially when your rating has gone down the way it is, we are almost in a junk territory, right? So one basic understanding of the market is that when you come onto the market unattractive, you'll be punished.
For Ghana, the burden of debt servicing obligations, limited to interest payments only, was projected to reach approximately $5 billion at both domestic and external levels in 2023. Unlike its 16th enrollment in 2015, Ghana's unsustainable debt position was certainly a huge obstacle in obtaining an IMF deal. This meant a lot of conditions had to be met. The IMF's message to Ghana was very simple: restructure your debt or no bailout package.
I also want to assure all Ghanaians that no individual or institutional investor, including pension funds, in government treasury bills or instruments, will lose their money as a result of our ongoing IMF negotiations. There will be no haircuts. So I urge all of you to ignore the false rumors.
Instantly, the market knew the president wasn't speaking the truth. You see that right after the president made a statement, the reactions were more or less to reject the statements. And therefore, my expectation is that any investor who probably took a decision on the back of that wasn't an investor, was probably a lotto doctor.
And of course, Isaac Kofiachi, who's behind that work, is joining us in studio now on what to expect at 5:30 p.m. when all of that airs. And Isaac, the point about why we're consistent on a nation that begs, it's almost descriptive of the situation that our economy is facing now.
Absolutely. So this is a three-part series. We brought you the first part called The Genesis, how Ghana became, got unbridled borrowing, assets behavior, and then all of a sudden realized that our debt levels are unsustainable. Then we had the second part, which was from hero to zero. And the third part is, a trailblazer in global begging. Mm-hmm. A trailblazer in global begging because we are focusing on the Eurobond market, where substantial amount of our external debt is coming from. We owe the Eurobond market about $14 billion that currently we are asking these commercial creditors to take haircuts of up to 40% in terms of the principal, and then also up to 5% in terms of the interest. So this evening at 5:30, we are tracking how government or how Ghana made its debut in the Eurobond market in 2007 when late former finance minister Kojo Banredu left to London, came back with $750 million and several firsts. We became the first sub-Saharan African country to issue a 0% coupon tranche. And then also we went in between 2013 and 2016, Setekpe was there. And then also the current government under the watch of the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, where we borrowed close to $11 billion. So we are tracking all of this unbridled borrowing, and we are telling you how Ghana was hailed as the darling boy in the Eurobond market. And all of a sudden, we've been thrown out of that market because we were in too deep, according to Bright Simmons. And you can't be in the capital market if you don't have a mechanism for repayment.
And what's bringing up the importance once more of this conversation is because of where we are now, failed timelines for even the IMF second tranche.
Yeah. So if you look at it, we've actually had to restructure our meetings with the executive board for about at least, I think there's a third time or so, fourth time. And this is all because we've not been able to get the necessary financing assurance to be able to trigger the release of the second tranche of the IMF money, which is $600 million. We were in this with Zambia. They are facing the same problems. But countries that are not doing restructuring, like our neighbors, Ivory Coast, they got their first review around the same time we also had our staff first review, and they've been able to go ahead to withdraw their second tranche. We have not been able to do it because the condition that we need to meet the financing assurance to trigger that 600 million, we've not been able to meet it. We understand there's a problem at both the commercial side in terms of the Eurobond side and then also the bilateral. Mind you that the Eurobonds that we are talking about, the first people who bought these Eurobonds are not the current holders or the original holders have actually offloaded the bonds.
I see.
And you find these bonds in the hands of people or investors who are willing to take the risk. So you are asking these people to take a haircut of 40%. They are willing to hold on to the bonds the longest that they can because they know the more they hold on to the bonds, the more they are able to get monies from you. And so we asked another very simple question. Do we really have a game plan in this whole debt restructuring, or we just want assurances for us to get the IMF monies released?
Okay.
That's not one question that we probably have to ask ourselves in this external debt restructuring.
Kofi, thank you. 5:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel. You have more details coming your way. Suspend the lithium lease agreement. That is the appeal of the Domahini Osajifo Osade Ajaman Bedu II and the Bono Regional House of Chiefs urging the government of Ghana to pay heed to the experts and influential organizations on this mining deal that Ghana holds 13% shares. Speaking at the end of year review meeting, the chief also announced the decision of some chiefs to cut ties with the Brekum Traditional Council after what he describes as unfair treatment during the funeral of the late Brekum chief. Precious Semevo has the rest of the story.
In his remarks at the 2023 end-of-year review meeting of the Bono Regional House of Chiefs, the president of the House, Osajifo Oseadeyo Ajimambedu II, commended the government for the progress of the Sunyani Airport and the upgrade of the regional hospital to a teaching hospital, but called for the needed support for their growth. He expressed concern about the deplorable roads in the region and appealed for speedy action to fix them. Domahini also voiced the concern of the House about how national security operatives aided one faction against another to install a chief at Sampa, a situation that has allegedly created confusion and fear in the area. He, however, announced the decision of some chiefs to cut ties with the Brekum Traditional Council after what he described as unfairly restricting them from attending the funeral of the late Brekum chief, Nana Mankunadiewo, a member of the House until his death.
Ahemfo mako ye nson wo Bono region a Nana Drobo hene, Nana Nsoko hene, Nana Dwunim hene, Nana Wanchi hene, Nana Kwatwoma hene, Nana Suma hene, Domaka ho ye nson. Ene abonofo no a bebeje atum no. Ya ye se free samre ko ye ni Brekum. Ye to nkwanta ya de apai. E wo fia nhihye ho. Ko si se bebe fa kwan papa so abeka bibi a kire. Because any dear council say ura kra ba yi a eno nje se bi mabi na nka sa platform yi kra ye kwa ene sabi otumfo asante hene oti na dwam se asantefo bewura nka ngojan anaso asamka oba ene meso ngodoma ngro na ne mamamfo ye kokoduru won tam ne tewa nti obakasa nka o magye aye se ye mu bi abakosem kra ye kanti ase anya adwuma nka Brekumfo na sese nka benya opportunity a beka sa adehye mienu bom so wahu me beka koye abonofo no ye mu bi ye hu se ade abede ye ntwa yie nti ya ye de ya atwe ye hu Brekumfo benya bebia benya any problem.
He appealed to the government to heed to calls of experts and civil society groups to suspend the lithium lease agreement with Lithium Atlantic over the contract terms.
Because Baba Casa Hon near Marcasiano, the word basic agreement and an ordinary. Now, media cry, the anti-cry agreement, the members of Bassan. But to talk us on say agreement in Casa lithium, one year doma benfiedunu. Lithium and a good year be a behunus area, no yabede. Sani pania doma no timia yo. Ntika sanya lithium kura. Broni no basanis agreement na will be. The bedroom have been a loose sukon. Nana am dancer and another so by sorry or 70 years. Young Casa bentu adiano. No more anya she unipano. Brabetu yamfa who de tu maye. Wo yani wonche. And I know better crying in 50-50. Ye ran on bench ye, my bank lithium agreement be a basa emfa assume.
Bono Regional Minister Justina Osubanahini assured the chiefs of more collaboration that will inure to the benefit of the region. Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyai.
And for the past 3 weeks, anxiety has gripped commuters and pedestrians navigating the East Legon Underbridge Road. The source of their concern is the damaged height limit pole that has dislodged from its initial placement, now posing a threat on that main stretch. Faced with the risky situation, drivers find themselves having to navigate cautiously around the obstruction to prevent possible collisions. Kwesi Adai Kwating, I beg your pardon, has compiled this report.
This is East Legon Underbridge, a bustling access linking East Legon, Spintex and nearby communities. Drivers crossing this area are compelled to employ inventive maneuvers to avoid colliding with the dangerous height limit indicator pole that has shifted from its original position, posing a potential hazard to unsuspecting motorists and pedestrians. An anonymous vendor revealed to us that the height limit indicator pole was reportedly damaged weeks ago by a towing vehicle.
It has happened about 3 weeks ago, and up to date, nobody comes to check even either to work it out, or nobody comes, actually, nobody comes. It was a tow car that came to hit it, and then it caused like this.
Some motorists who spoke to us shared their concerns about the unstable nature of the pole. They fear that it's only a matter of time before the weakened structure gives way, potentially leading to an incident if no action is taken.
We are afraid it's very dangerous because it's broken and it needs to be fixed. Because the cars are passing under it. You don't know what may happen. Air can blow and then it can fall on any car and it can cause dangerous accident again. So the authorities have to come in and check it for us because it's very dangerous to us.
It is really posing danger to the traffic and to passengers around this area. It's very dangerous to us. So please, could you please take the immediate action for us to be safe? Safety is better. As a citizen of Ghana, we have been in the country for years. There are certain things which we need to be corrected. So these are one of the things.
Obviously, it's dangerous. Obviously. So, I mean, those in charge should come and look at it and fix it as quickly as possible. Because the concern is if the other side also gets in, it will cause serious problems for commuters.
Here is main road, and we can't allow this pillar to be on the road. How? Because there's the mountain is there, so they have to go there and then mount it at the right place. So I don't know. Ghana leaders, I don't know.
Kwesi Adai Kwating's report read to you.
And it's been a year since Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia inaugurated the 56.4 kilometer, $45 million Sino-Hydro Corporation project. But the project has shown its second defect with portions of the stretch, especially the Papase Junction in KJB being a threat to users. Commuters want that portion fixed to avert any casualties. Correspondent Peter Seno has more.
Just about a year ago, similar developments popped up at Kokrantumi, also on the stretch. It got resolved with pavement blocks after joiners reported on it. This is Papase Junction. The asphalted road, inaugurated on the 8th of September 2022, has shown its second ugly spot. Here, you see a protruding asphalted road giving way to forces beneath it. Drivers are compelled to move to the shoulders of the road upon reaching this spot. This means there is no walkway for pedestrians anytime there is this coincidental meeting. First-time road users have had to scratch the bellies of their vehicles on it. This has not resulted in any major accident yet, but is a potential accident trigger, even as authorities try to reduce the carnage on the roads. Residents and drivers argue this could be as a result of poor job done on this area, as the previous construction had concrete blocks laid to ensure the road is safe for its users. They have been sharing their views on this development and the quality of work done.
As you can see, the cars are suffering a lot because you can see some load over there. A car will just come, cannot cross, and they will decide to reduce the load before the car will move and they will put it back. So it's a worry. It's a worry. And this road is not even up to 2 years, and these things are happening. So we are pleading with the government to see to it that the contractor will come back on the site to fix it.
The contractor should come back and repair it again. The contractor should come back and do it for us again. Otherwise, the last part will be very short, which will be a problem for the government.
Oh yes, it's as a result of a shoddy work being done here. Because this road was constructed before, I could say during President Kufuor's time. And this place was constructed with tiles nicely, and nothing happened here. But this time round, I think it's as a result of a shoddy work being done here.
The 56.4 kilometer, $45 million project is just a year old after its inauguration. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
A lot of excitement in the air as we are about talking about the Joy FM family party in the park, which is returning this year on the 26th of December at the Bury Botanical Gardens. This year's edition promises to be exciting and packed with a lot of fun activities to aid family bonding. And of course, we're so happy and delighted that Enterprise Live is one of our sponsors, and joining in this partnership, Raymond Kwanzaa is Regional Sales Manager, and Patricia Ajoko-Kwe is head of the Department of Customer Service, all joining us to have a conversation on this. Lady and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. They say ladies first, but let me start off with you, Ray.
Right, welcome.
Tell us about, Enterprise Live, because we hear about it often, we hear about the arts, but a lot of people do not know about the journey.
Yeah. You know, Enterprise Live is a member of Enterprise Group.
Okay.
Yes, and what we do, currently we are the leading life insurance provider in Ghana, and we provide life insurance solutions to individuals, families, groups, and organizations. And we have some of the solutions like family funeral finance plan that provide immediate cash for to pay funeral expenses of the loved one. We have family income security plan that makes sure that there's enough money in case the breadwinner falls sick or dies, or any eventuality happens before the breadwinner that he cannot provide the regular income that he provides to the family. We have education policy that also provide money to make sure the children return back to school or pay children's school fees. And we have many other policies like that.
And in fact, I'm excited that you're saying you're the market lead, and many will be wondering, well, if you're the market lead, why are you coming to support Party in the Park? So let's talk about that. Why have you decided to, join the celebration and to support this unique thing that we're doing?
Okay, so Party in the Park is a big platform, and it's been running for quite some time now. And in Enterprise Life, we continuously find opportunities like this, like program and activities, where we can connect with our customers, serve them, and also answer their queries and introduce new solutions to them. So we feel like this particular program of Your Party in the Park is equally a good platform where we can partner and meet our good customers and prospects.
I see. And I must say that's a laudable move, of course. You'll be meeting some of your old customers, and also it will be providing you with an opportunity to also meet the new ones. Yeah. So what do you have in store for, all of these customers that will be coming?
Well, our clients are valued and cherished to us. And like Raymond has said, we're a family-oriented organization. Most of our products are for different members in the family. We have the Bloom that caters, that's an all-female related product. We have the funeral products, and all of those. We're expecting to meet our clients on that day, to have a great interaction with them. We'll have a service desk set up. They can do enquiries, check on their policies, let us know if they have any concerns, if we can address those concerns. And then also, we will also walk them through our self-service tools and our Life Connect platform. So wherever they are, at their own convenience and ease, we'll walk them through how to use our tools. So they can
and there's this question as to whether or not there'll be a special package for those who will be coming for your services there. Do you have a surprise, maybe? Because it's also Christmas, you know, we're celebrating.
Absolutely. We're coming with a lot of fun-packed souvenirs for them to take away. Very beautiful, very amazing. They'll definitely love them.
Indeed. Any final words, and I'll take that from both of you, to, you know, your customers or your clients, those who are even eager to know much more about the enterprise group. What would you want to leave them with?
Okay, so we want to tell our cherished customers and Prosper out there that they should join us at the Family Park on 26th. We'll be there, and we are coming fully with our sales team, with the customer service team, to provide good solutions. To interact with them, they should come with all the questions they have. We'll answer them and also give them gifts.
Indeed. I'll be there to take mine as well on the 26th. Any final words?
Yes. I think one of the best gifts you can give to your family is to ensure that the solutions you have with us are active, your valuable benefits are secure. So they should come join us, check on their policies. And then also they can reach us on our contact center number, 0307084444.
Probably you might have to be very slow with that so that those who missed it can get to
0307084444 for any inquiries they'd like to make.
And of course, when you just show up there for the party, definitely you'd be getting more to know much more about the enterprise group. And I'm sure that they have so much in store for you. But of course, I'm grateful that you're all joining us and having this celebration with us here on The Pulse. And of course, that's all we have for you in this package of The Pulse. I am Blessed Sungan. Do log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there for you. Bye-bye.